Welcome everyone to day 2 of StarSeries Season 3. Yesterday we handled Group A, but today we're going to deal with a whole new group of players. It is Group B, and I'm very excited for this day. The schedule is absolutely packed, and we're starting off with two players that you know and love. It's going to be Snowkiss and RDU facing off. They're here on the floor with me right now. We're going to get a few words from them. Guys, come on over here. Let's talk to everyone at home about this first matchup because I know everyone is very excited for it. Snowkiss, you brought the most aggressive lineup in the entire tournament. What was your logic behind bringing that?
Well, actually, I feel very lucky to qualify to the final. I never thought I'm going to qualify first, so I want to thank everyone that helps me to qualify the finals. And I thought RDU going to play aggro deck as well in the tournament. However, he bring the control deck, which surprised me a lot. And since he's really confident against me, I wish him all the best luck. But I just hope you join the match today.
Yeah, so now you have an interesting lineup. I feel like you didn't go with what anyone was expecting, but do you feel you're well situated in this group?
I feel like I'm well situated in this match. I'm not necessarily situated well in this group because the other people just brought like anti-control decks, and I have a mix of control and board-oriented decks, so it's gonna be very hard to predict how I'm gonna do here, but I will try my best, and hopefully we'll put up some very good, nice games for you guys to watch, and hopefully I perform well. I really hope I will not mess it up.
Well, one of the things that you alluded to is you're pretty confident going into this, the first match of your day. So do you think you have what it takes to take down Snowkiss easily with this lineup?
I wouldn't say easily, because aggro is never easy to beat, but I think I'm slightly favored, yeah.
So do you think that this is going to be the hardest matchup in this group, or do you think you can figure it out?
Well, actually, to me, I think every match is hard. I can't really say the hardest, but obviously, RDU is one of the best players in the world. Wish him all the best luck, and I'll try my best anyway, but I couldn't think I can beat him. However, I'll do my best then.
Well, two sportsmen on the floor here right now, but they're going to go lock in and start off this first match of the day. So I'm going to throw it over to the casters to get this one started.
Hey guys, welcome back to StarLadder Series Season 3. Finals in Kiev with me, Firebad. How you doing, man?
Doing great. You know,
you have to be happy after yesterday, right? StarLadder actually go through.
He actually made it through, yeah. The North American representative, my NA pride going strong. Hoping that NA can take this one and continue to show that NA is stronger than EU.
We had that talk already. Like,
did we?
Yeah, but...
Oh, yeah, and so you agreed with me that NA is better. All right, yeah, we got this out of the way, so we don't even need to cover it again, sure.
Exactly, that was my point. To a small recap from yesterday, PF was the second player to go through. Actually, the first player to go through. Yeah, because he won just 2-0. Zalay had to actually win on the back of his loss against... Who was it? Against Stan?
He lost to Stan Sifka in his first round, knocked him down to the loser's bracket, and then he had to play against Nyman first. He beat Nyman, and then he had to get the rematch against Sifka, and he was able to make it out. Meanwhile, PF just straight up dominated the group. Not a lot of people really know PF, unless I guess you really follow the Chinese scene, but yeah, he had a crazy strong performance, just getting 2-0 out of the group.
Amazing to see, actually, to witness that the Chinese players coming here to Europe actually dominate the group, right? So now we have this Group B with the, well, last 4 players, because we have only 8 players here. And we're gonna see who advances from that group. As you can see, RDU versus Snowkiss. As you said, Snowkiss is a Chinese caster.
Yeah, she's a Chinese caster / stage host. So as you saw in the interview, she's got really good English. Been around in the Hearthstone scene for a while, and this is the first time I've actually seen her play. But I've casted with her in China before.
All right.
So she was like one of the translators and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely a great person and. Pretty interesting lineup here. An interesting twist on the aggro. We were talking about the lineups earlier, and you were telling me how heavy some of these aggro decks look.
Oh, they're really top heavy. Like the Pirate Warrior from Snowkiss actually has a Spellbreaker, Nagakosa, double Arcane Reaper, double Mortal Strike, and on top of that, Leroy Jenkins.
Which, honestly, could really help her in these matchups. The more controlling of a deck you're playing against, the heavier you want your aggro deck to be, the more threat dense you want it to be. So the fact that she's teched her aggro decks with more heavy cards means she was kind of anticipating people to go more control-y with it, which could actually give her a chance, even though RDU's lineup is targeting that aggro.
It is, but at the same time, she has a lot of techs. Like when I spoke with RDU before the match, he thinks that the hardest deck to win with will be the Rogue. The Miracle Rogue.
Sure.
But at the same time, Rogue is a Rogue. It's like a Druid deck, right? If you get a really good opener, you can just you know, blow out everyone, right? Whatever they're playing. And the second hardest deck to win with will be the Mage. And the reason why I think he said that is because Snowkiss actually has 2 Secret Eaters in 2 decks. I mean, sorry, well, 1 each, right?
Yeah, one in each of 2 different of her decks, yeah.
Yeah. So that might be a little bit of a bummer for that Mage.
Yeah, even though the Mage is teched against aggro, it has the double Volcanic Potion in there, which can really help shut down some of the early minions. Those Eater of Secrets could be a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, there's no Eater of Secrets in her Hunter deck, which we didn't anticipate at all in this tournament, right?
Sure. There's not been too many Hunters running around lately. They were actually pretty prominent in the North American preliminaries. We saw a lot of Hunter there. I think it was like 18% of the field had Hunter. And I think 4 players made it to the top 8 with Hunter in that tournament. That was when aggro was really running rampant. But now, lately, everyone kind of switched away from the Hunter. I think it was the least represented class in the EU preliminaries. Yeah. So, who knows what Hunter's doing? It's kind of an interesting wild card deck.
Okay.
Wild, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting to see the metagame being so fluid, right? It just changes all the time, even though we have some best decks always performing, or at least expected to be performing. And what is also interesting is that we have a best of 7 metagame, because if someone didn't watch it yesterday, all of the games that we'll have are best of 7. So if you want to be like watching every single game, prepare for yourself, take something to drink, something to eat, because yesterday we had a 3 hours match, like a tennis game.
It was long, but that was the control mirrors. This one not going to be quite as long, as we do have anti-aggro up against aggro. So most of the games are going to be a lot quicker, and it's going to be a lot of really split decisions that are just going to decide everything. You make one little mistake as aggro against anti-aggro, and suddenly you're out of the game. Yeah. You have to be able to build your board in a way that's resilient against their removal, and if you're unable to do so, or you make a misstep along the way, play into 1 card, bam, board gets cleared, you're done. So it's gonna be very tense games that rely on one play that's gonna be the huge swing factor that's gonna decide it a lot of the time.
That is correct, and now we're gonna see Shaman versus Paladin. The Paladin from Snowkiss is actually very different from what you see in Europe. Well, it's kind of silly to say very different, but there are some key cards that are different from the European version, like an example, or the NA version. There's 1 Oracle.
Yeah, the Grimscale Oracle, the 1-mana 1/1 Murloc that gives your Murlocs additional attack to make it so that there's 7 1-drops. So you're going to very consistently have a 1-drop in this Murloc Paladin, as well as having the Eater of Secrets is included in this deck, double Blessing of Kings, 1 Rallying Blade, 1 True Silver. Very aggressive Paladin deck, including all of the Murlocs with double Bluegill.
No, that is correct. She has only 1 Spikeridge Steed. It's not as top-end heavy.
Which should help her in this matchup, only having 1, because the Shaman is able to deal so well with Spikeridge Steed with Devolves. RDU has a lot of control tools in his deck, including that double Devolve and just really solid board control tools as the Shaman. This matchup is heavily Shaman favored. You have to imagine this is the matchup that RDU most likely wants the most with his Shaman deck.
I mean, the Devolves are actually, and Evolves, right? Because he plays both both of those cards, which is interesting to see, like, lore-wise, because it's like one of those cool archetypes that has, like, the same game plan, but completely in different, like, directions for you and for your opponent.
Yeah, polar opposite cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Evolve, devolve. But one of the things that could hurt him is having the double Bloodlust is really heavy for targeting aggro, but this is a deck that people have been playing on ladder consistently through the last month, the Evolved Shaman, and it just destroys Paladin. That's why it became a deck, so...
Still might be...
He's falling behind right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Still might be a little bit behind without a chance to actually make a comeback by playing, you know, Devolve, and then on top of that, having a way of clearing up the board after it, right? Usually what you want to set up is a Devolve into a Malison portal, because then usually the 1-drops, I'm sorry, the 2-drops can be devolved into a 1-drop that die to the Malison portal, so you don't rely on the air power totem. But in this case, the redemption actually is detrimental to what happened on the board, and RDU needs to kinda overextend.
Yeah, I like this play. Just get as many minions in the field as you can. He doesn't need to draw cards yet. Get control of the board first, then work on drawing cards.
Snowkiss has few possibilities. The first thing that comes to mind is, of course, Druid Champion, the best turn 4 play. Unless you have a full board of Murlocs, then Gentle Megazord is way better. But in this situation, she actually goes for the Gentle Megazord, so she doesn't want to guarantee herself a trade on the Flamethrower Totem.
Yeah, she feels she needs the tempo of the 5/4 body, which you can't blame her for that. And unfortunately, not getting the +1/+1 or the plus attack or the poison to be able to take any clean trades
Wind
here.
Fury.
Or Wind Fury. Yeah, these are just awful options.
So she had 4 out of 10.
Yeah, 4 out of 10 to be able to get it. And off of Discovers, so you get like 3 different shots at it. They all have slightly better odds than the previous shot. So it's very unlikely to low roll it that hard. So that's a bit unfortunate for her, and that's going to be the punish for taking that risk there with the Gentle Megazord. The payout is obviously you get a 5/4 instead of a true silver charge, and a slightly stronger minion on the board.
And as you can see, she also did attack into the Flamethrower Totem instead of attacking into the Flame Elemental, because she wants to set up the charge with the Seer next turn.
Yeah, the Bluegill Warrior can charge in. She also has 1 copy of Consecrate in her deck she could try and find, but it's looking like RDU's cleaning up this board, and if there's no Consecrate, it's going to be really tough for Snowkiss to make her way back into this game.
Even with Consecrate, it doesn't really clean up.
It doesn't clean up enough. It's a start. You get a True Silver down, the Mana Tide, and then Consecrate the following turn with the Bluegill to finish everything, but oh man. Sunkeeper Tarim only works when you have a giant board, not when your opponent does, really, so.
Yep, that is pretty unlucky.
Feels she wants to take out the Flametongue Totem to slow down the pressure, which means RDU is going to continue drawing additional cards, working towards his Evolve combos.
And he still has a backup Flametongue Totem to get superb value out of that Murloc Totem.
He's just got beautiful trades across the board now to protect everything. Yeah, it looks like he's just running away with this one. There's not much. But that's expected in this lineup here. If we're looking at all of the decks across the board for RDU, the Shaman is the most likely one to be able to get an easy win.
He actually said it's the Paladin that he anticipates that he will get the easiest win.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. The Paladin from him is a Control N'Zoth Paladin, so it's a little bit greedier than a standard Control Paladin. And I think it could struggle a little bit in some of these matchups. But it is a very powerful anti-aggro deck, that's for sure.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's a chance that it just draws the top end
Yeah,
first.
yeah, it could just draw a bunch of, it could draw a 10 drop and 3 8 drops in its opening hand. That's possible.
That's probably GG at that point.
Right.
So.
Whereas the Shaman, it's got such a low curve that it always has things to do. But yeah, this game is over. So RDU remaining, he has this N'Zoth Paladin. He has
well, we didn't finish this game yet, but
well, I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
He has his Rogue. The Rogue is going to be very tricky to get a win with. You talk about decks that are bad against aggro decks. Rogue, even though it has the backstabs and fans, a lot of times it can really struggle. So that's going to be a key one for him to win with.
First Blessing of Kings is going to be played on that fantastic Murloc Recruit. True Silver Champion is one of the Mana Tide Totems. Still not enough to actually sustain the card advantage that RDU is getting each turn. When you think about it, Mana Tide Totems are like Arcane Intellect with a huge potential of just blowing up the game.
Kind of, yeah. And it's blowing out the game.
Well, where's the Bloodlust when you need one?
It'll come eventually. He gets free minions every turn from the Murloc Totem too, so he can just constantly beat down Snowcast's board without losing too much.
That is so awkward. The Tarim can't be really played against decks like that when they just thrive on the amount of minions they can play each single turn. So Paladin can never be like up to date with the amount of minions that their opponent have. Right? There's no Masterful Battle anymore, and what it can use instead would be Stand Against Darkness.
Not a very good card.
Not a very good card, and it doesn't fit even the mana.
Right.
You would have to keep the coin for that.
Yeah. When you fall this far behind, usually you need some sort of a quality comeback, which isn't really included in the more aggressive variants of Paladin. The idea of the aggressive variants of Paladin is you never fall behind, so you don't need a quality. So you just play cards that can keep you ahead the entire game. And that works when it works, but when it doesn't, it really doesn't.
Well, that's the beauty of those decks, right?
Right. The aggressive decks. You have to be hitting your curve, and you can never let yourself fall behind. which is why a lot of times you got to take some kind of wonky plays to make sure you stay ahead just enough, because you have no comeback mechanism if you do fall behind. And Snowkiss, that game, fell far behind against RDU's early game. He just had all the tools he needed: Jade Claws, Maelstrom Portal, Firefly, pulled the patches out with the Flame Tongue.
All right, now we'll have a short interview, and then we'll be back to game 2.
Hi there, I'm RDU, professional Hearthstone player for G2 Esports. The full schedule is like I wake up, I eat a little bit, I start streaming. After finishing the stream, I usually eat a little bit more, and then I proceed to do other activities. And then if I have some more time, or if I have a very important tournament coming up, like this one here, then I will also spend more time on practicing after the stream. But after the stream, I do anything from going out to going for a run, sometimes doing some more different activities, but I like to just alternate it in my free time. Well, I don't have any schedule. I don't impose to myself to play more than my body needs. I just feel like in the early stages of an expansion, I need to play more to understand the game faster than the other players. But once most strategies and the best decks are discovered, I don't need to put that much time into practicing them because I already played at the start of the expansion. So I just need to find time to polish individual decks and feed them together in a good lineup and try to outsmart the other players by building the better deck. But in the early stages of the expansion, I play like a madman. I play like crazy. Well, usually I'm very emotional when I'm streaming. It's way easier to get tilted and to feel the game if you're constantly talking about it and interacting with the chat while you're doing it. My opponent getting lucky or me getting lucky or something flashy happening is way more exciting when other people are watching. But when I'm just playing by myself or playing in a tournament, I don't usually put that much, I don't know, focus onto these moments. I just try to treat everything as if I only care about what I am doing and not about the random elements, and I try to maximize the way I play. Depending on how big and important the tournament is, I might care if I lose, especially if I lose because of RNG. I know normally you shouldn't care if you lose because of other elements and you should just proceed, but it's hard for the human brain to accept that you were unlucky. Where if I lose a big tournament because of my own mistakes, that kind of motivates me to become better and play more tournaments and just be better in them. When I lose because of RNG, it just feels demoralizing. You feel like, why am I, and it's just like not really a good experience. But this doesn't happen that much. Like most of the time, you're actually losing because of yourself. A lot of players try to find one situation where they were unlucky, but like I think most players lose because of their mistakes most of the time. No, I haven't thought about quitting Hearthstone yet. I still think I'm doing very well in tournaments, and I don't know, I think the game has a good future if Blizzard is willing to listen to the players more. I don't think they're listening enough to the players currently, and that can be a dangerous trend if they get another competitor that is willing to listen to the players more. But personally, I like Hearthstone a lot, and I will stick to it for the near future. So I have a lot of people that actually support me. Probably the biggest supporter that I have in Hearthstone is my teammate Thais. We've been in the same team for like 3 years. I don't know, like so much time. And we know each other very well. And we are actually always supporting each other for tournaments and also sharing some life experiences. And we talk with each other about any subject. And outside of Hearthstone, my parents have been extremely supportive. My parents really supported me playing Hearthstone, and they helped me in any way I needed to improve in my career. Like, if there is any person that I can call a mentor, that would be Life Coach. He helped me improve a lot in and also outside of Hearthstone. So I owe a lot to Life Coach for very good experiences. He's like probably the smartest person that I ever met, and he's an incredible person. He helped me a lot with so many things. So, the meaning of Hearthstone, that's a hard one. Well, I think Hearthstone is a very complicated game, way more complicated than people first think of it when they look at it and when they play it. I feel like the game requires so much knowledge at the top level of play because everything matters in a percentage. Everything from bringing the right decks to having the right cards in those decks to understanding the matchups of those decks and also to understanding what your opponents are going to bring, and then what you bring usually relies on what your opponents bring, so you have to like predict what they bring, and then you have to understand what you brought perfectly. It's way more complicated than people think it is, and that's very cool for a game that is supposed to be very easy, because it is a very easy game to understand at first. When you play it for like one day, you can see the basics and all that, but when you play it for 1 year, I still don't, or 2 or 3 years like me since the beta, I still don't think like I understand the game perfectly. I think I have a very good understanding of the game, and I can adapt very easily to the new meta games and to the new cards that they release, but I still think I'm far away from perfectly having an understanding of how everything functions in building a tournament lineup.
StarLadder I-League StarSeries Season 3 finalist, RDU.
That interview will probably fill like an entire Wikipedia page.
Yeah, that's a lot of information about RDU, what he likes about the game. I love the fact how he said at least 5 times during that he doesn't get emotional about the game. And you know someone gets emotional about the game when they constantly repeat that they don't get emotional about the game. That's just the dead tell. So if Snowkiss heard that interview, I would imagine she would just emote him a few times, just get the salt flowing. I think it's a good strategy. I definitely
Tweet at him.
Yeah, you're like RDU's team manager, kind of. Does he get emotional?
Well, I can tell you one thing. He was way more emotional back in the day.
Sure.
Like when I started the team in 2014, actually, he was actually still 16.
Oh,
you know?
geez. Yeah, he's young.
He's very young. And I have to tell you, he did mature like a lot during that time. He was very, you know, he was very passionate about the game in the beginning. He's still passionate, but he's more level-headed as well.
Okay.
So he's emotional, but he knows that emotions are not really something you want to have when you compete.
So on a scale from like amnesiac to life coach, how emotional is he?
I would say like in between.
In between?
In between, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, in between, I would say.
Sure. Not quite there yet.
Yeah.
But this matchup, the Rogue, one of the decks he's needs to get a win with. Obviously needs to get a win with all of them, but one of the trickier decks to get a win with for sure. But against the aggro Druid, Rogue oftentimes can sneak its way out of there. Having backstab SI to shut down the early minions and deny buffs is extremely powerful.
The Fan of Knives might be very important.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a sick play. Does he have any saps in the deck list? Because that can be a big deal with Snowkiss running double Hydra in her deck list.
Most of the players are actually cutting sap because they have, instead of them, lashers, Resto Petal lashers, because they just play in the early game, they give you some board control, and they give you a spell for just finishing up minions, having the combo for the agent, having an ability to just, you know, combat it with Eviscerate, or of course with the Gazetted.
Yeah.
Right? So I believe he has no saps.
No saps. But he has the Vile Spine Slayers, which can, you know, do even more work than a sap would do. So
exactly.
He just needs to find those in time for the Hydra, and he would be in a very good position. But right now, he has the ability, if he wants to fully clear the board, denying all potential buffs.
And that's crucial.
Yeah, that's crucial. I think you do it every time. I think it's a very strong prep fan coin SI turn. You lose a little bit of value in your hand, but shutting down the buffs is so strong. Oh, he's going with the Nourish.
Interesting.
Now we're going to see something fancy. Going Nourish Coin SI, getting the mana out, trying to pull ahead on mana of his opponent. He only leaves up a 1/2 this way, so the buffs still are not very strong. And he gets to develop this extra mana getting towards gadgets in Auctioneer.
And the minion that is left on the board is not a beast, so having Mark of Ishtar doesn't really do that much, right?
Okay.
Even if it just hits on that minion, it trades with being left with 1 HP, so it can still be killed with a dagger or Defender of Knives if he desperately needs a draw, right? So it's still fine. He still is on 30 HP.
Yeah,
so
it seems like a powerful play.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to get a Gadgetzin out super early if he wants to.
Better died Hydra, one of those minions that was being anticipated as one of the key metagame changers in the beginning of the expansion, right?
Yeah, everyone compared it to Fel Reaver and said it was going to be just as crazy strong, and it doesn't see that much play. It sees a little bit of play here and there, but nothing crazy.
The backstep a little bit too late.
Yeah, but he still gets to clear off the Hydra just fine, so he's in a terrific position, doesn't fall too far behind, and he has Gadgets and Backstab on the following turn.
It's fantastic when you think about it.
Yeah, it's usually pretty difficult for the Druid player to remove your minions if you can kill most of the things on their board.
At the same time, RDU might not be able to play Gazetan if Snowkiss will just play the Fledgling.
Right, but if they're just playing Fledgling on their 4-mana turn, I think you're pretty happy.
Yeah.
He could just take care of that Fledgling and just run away with his game.
Okay. Does it change anything? Not really.
I
He would
don't
have
think
to
so.
get a second coin, basically, to play the Gazetan here as well.
Right, or like a prep or something. I think it's just nice and safe to just guaranteed clear off the Fledgling. That is a powerful card with Gadgetson on the following turn.
Who's the captain now?
Yeah.
Look at me. That's actually an incredible setup for the next turn.
If Snowkiss gets living mana, things can turn around.
She actually plays double living mana, I
Right,
think.
double living mana, double Hydra. So a very, once again, heavy deck list. So these heavy aggro deck lists are focused on more beating control-centric matchups and being worse in aggro mirrors, which is actually a fairly solid metagame read if you are going to be bringing aggro, but it's tough to beat the prep fan SI backstab hand.
But she still did get back on the board with a
Right.
decent minion. So
And she has 3 minions in play for a roar. It's
Exactly.
getting close.
that's actually even better.
That's pretty good. Unfortunately for her, the minion she trades has to die. She has to trade in a 5/5 into a 5/5 if she wants to kill the gadget. She could risk it.
Leave that Gazetan alive and
Yeah, hope
push
there's no
for
spell.
9-10 damage this turn. It's not bad.
Do you think it's desperate enough where you got to risk it?
I think so. I think it's one of those situations when you actually need to make that really hard read on whatever your opponent might do and just go for it. But
It's really tough because you've seen counterfeit coin prep, you've seen backstab
fan,
fan, so you've seen eviscerate, you've seen a lot of the spells. So
Nourish.
you've seen nourish, yeah. So that's one of those situations where it might be right just to ignore the gadget, but it's definitely really scary to do so.
it's especially kind of interesting in those new Miracle Rogues because they are playing top-end heavy when it comes to minions. Like they don't have any that amount of spells anymore.
Right, they
like
cut a
had.
lot of the spells because they run like you see a questing adventure there. They run the giants now, so there's a bunch of additional minions in the deck. Sometimes you got to make those gambles.
The worst thing that can happen is basically a hallucination, because that's like the card that gives you
Another
almost
spell, yeah.
infinite gas, right?
Right.
But this is not looking great for RDU. Look at that. He needs to sacrifice the giant for the Bitterhide Hydra, then kill the Direwolf. And that would mean that he's still dead to a Savage Roar. Huh.
Aggro Druid, man, it's just getting there. Able to just put out just enough pressure every turn. RDU's just missing the spell to remove the last minion every time. If he just had any spell, a Vilespine Slayer even, he could clean up this board and be totally safe, but he's just so close, but not able to do it quite yet.
Do you think he should just play Gazetan this turn with Thalnos? Yeah, he's gonna do it.
Yeah, Gadgeson with Thalnos, you can get additional draws. You need to get that Thalnos developed so you can find your way towards answers.
He can also get Hallucination into Feral Rage.
Living mana.
Okay.
With the Thalnos dead now, living mana,
It's actually...
it's going to stick, right? There's no
Yeah,
way
there's
for
no way.
RDU, because he's already used 1 Fan of Knives. So with the spell power gone, 1 Fan of Knives gone, there are going to be some 2/2s remaining, and this might just be sealing the deal right here. I don't know if there's any combination of cards that can actually clear it. Well, there's some Druid cards, some Starfall action.
Starfall and anything else? Let's think about it. One swipe is not enough.
Well, swipe with Fan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see that. Hallucination
Just
going
a big
first.
taunt could help as well.
There's an Arcane Giant, which doesn't help, and those are horrible.
Yeah, the Elder Longneck,
Can give you a taunt minion,
it can give you a taunt minion, but
that's like 1 HP.
that's a 5/1 taunt. That's not a lot of healing.
Yeah.
Does Pilfered Power cycles for a card?
But
you
what,
get
is,
most
what does he
draw
look
out
for?
of it.
Another Hallucinate?
Right, you get the excess mana.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
Completely
so
forgot
you can
about
try
that.
and find the hallucinate for the Starfall.
Oh my god.
These Vilespine Slayers would have been better earlier.
Yep.
That's a big Edwin. You can play that and concede.
Oh, at least you show some dominance.
Wow, that was great. Look at how many minions in a row he hit.
Yeah, that's the thing with those Miracle Rogues nowadays, right?
Yeah, they've added a lot of extra minions and unable to find the spells to be able to shut down Aggro Druid. He was really close to being able to do it. Getting a win there with that Rogue would have been absolutely huge for him, because that is one of the decks that Snowkiss is targeting.
All right, that's true. But we'll see how the next match goes. But before that, we're gonna hear what Snowkiss has to say.
这次也是非常开心，可以来到乌克兰参加比赛。之前也没有想过可以出现吧，觉得还是挺开心的，觉得自己很幸运。我打炉石的话，基本上每天还是以直播为主吧。现在大概每天会直播4到5个小时。那这次比赛的话，其实我也做了很多练习，然后下直播之后还是找朋友一起去对战啊，去练习。但是感觉可能也没有像职业选手那样练那么多。我觉得我还是会尽力的。最近这段时间练的还是挺多的吧。我觉得其实这个版本来说，很多职业、很多对局上面的东西都有很多不稳定的因素，像卡组啊、很多对阵啊，然后职业上面针对还是挺明显的。这次比赛我觉得我还是会放平常心这样去打吧，不会想太多，不会给自己太大的压力。从来没有想过要离开炉石，我觉得。就游戏在我生命中占很重要的一个部分，可能它已经成为我生活的一部分。如果要没有游戏的话，我也不知道可以从事什么样的职业，因为它已经成为你生活中一个不可缺少的部分了。所以我觉得很多时候，即便不玩炉石了，可能也会玩暴雪其他的一些游戏吧，不知道。但是暂时来说，近3、5年没有想过不玩炉石吧。这个在我脑海里面还没有出现过这样的问题。对我来说，我觉得。首先，非常感谢那些一直支持我的人。我觉得没有你们，我不可能走到现在。当然，一路走过来有很多质疑声，也有很多其他的声音。但是我觉得，没有那些支持我和喜欢我的人，可能我不会在这里。为了你们，我一定会好好努力的。然后，我的每一位粉丝都是非常可爱的。谢谢你们一路对我的支持。就这次比赛，我的准备来说，其实我觉得，相比其他选手来说，不是特别充分吧。首先，我不是职业选手，那在练牌的时候，没有像他们那么仔细，然后去对战。也非常谢谢帮我准备牌组的一些选手，像谢谢灭神，然后谢谢太极剑，然后谢谢吕哥，他们给了我很多建议，因为确实我的牌池没有像其他选手这么深，然后他们。按照我的方法，然后我会打一些牌，给了我很多建议，然后也陪我练习，我觉得非常谢谢你们。炉石对我来说，其实它不只是一个游戏，因为我平时的话也是从事炉石的解说和主持工作，它已经成为我生活中的一部分了。之前我也有提到过，我觉得炉石对我的意义非常非常的多，它可能占据我生活中很重要的一个部分。如果没有炉石的话，可能就没有今天的我。非常热爱这款游戏，也希望炉石可以越来越火吧。
StarLadder I-League StarSeries Season 3 finalist, Snowkiss.
All right, we're back. It's actually pretty cool to see all those interviews. We are lacking some of the context for the viewers to get to know the players better, right?
Yeah, it's always good to hear about the players. It's always really cool in the interview setting how you see a bunch of people like RDU that memes on Twitter about the game and now how much he respects it in his interview. And then you see Snowkiss here. She says she's not even a professional player, but she's here 1-1 against RDU in the LAN finals of the tournament. Not even a pro player. So this is her big break into the pro scene, maybe.
When you said that, I actually remembered when RDU was first time on stage.
Okay.
And that was Bucharest 2015.
With the freeze mage. Was it 15? I thought it might even been 14.
Well, yeah, 14.
14,
we started
yeah.
playing 13, right? So that was like March 2014.
That was the invention of freeze mage at that time.
Bucharest, and he was playing against Nimsh on in the first round in a single elimination tournament when Nimsh was actually perceived as a pro player back then.
Yeah.
And RDU just crushed Nimsh. And I was like, dude, that kid is like 16.
Yeah. It's really cool how Hearthstone, you know, they get the local events, the big dream hacks and stuff like that. Anyone can come out and prove themselves. And I guess even in the I-League, you know, that's the Chinese partner for StarLadder here. Snowkiss making her way out here, proving herself against the top dogs.
But look at that. The top dog here will be an Eater of Secret. And this matchup is actually nuts.
Yeah. She has a really weird, aggressive Shaman deck. So she has the standard early game shell, but then she has included extra Jade cards. Oftentimes, players don't include the Jade Spirit in the aggro Shaman. And oftentimes players don't include Eater of Secrets, so a bunch of interesting card choices in her deck.
And this decision is also very interesting. She coined out Totem, but now she falls back a little bit on turn 3,
Right. She's going to have, unless she top decks something, her turn 3 is going to be a bit awkward. But the idea here, I assume, is trying to force RDU to have to ping so that he can't develop a secret, for example, activating Medivh's Valet or what have you. So able to kind of get rewarded for it because the Primal Fin Totem does stick around, just because she knows there's so many things RDU wants to be doing in the early game.
And now he has another target. The Manatite Totem is actually an objective that you need to kill as soon as possible, and especially when you're playing a control deck.
Right.
Fortunately for him, the Medivh's Valet will help out clean up those totems, those nasty totems actually with 3 HP. And what I just wanted to say about that Eater of Secret, that most likely you will not see that card being played on curve.
Well, it's a really good tempo play right now. It's a 3-5, which contests the board quite nicely. I don't mind the Eater of Secrets coming out right now.
But don't you think like it's more important just to get it out when you finish up the game? Like your opponent is gonna play very safe
true,
with an ice block, right?
But a 2-3 and a 1-1 does not trade very well with the board right now. All right, the 5-5 trades pretty well with the board, so that works out. But yeah, it is interesting the timing of the Eater of Secrets, just because at certain points the stat line is just so good.
Maybe with 2 secrets out.
Maybe with 2 secrets out, then it's even better, yeah, obviously. But ideally, you'd love to hold it for when you're killing your opponent, yeah, obviously. But sometimes there's opportunities where it could be worthwhile playing. So I think that's definitely a decision point to maybe potentially play it there, and then you can get Thing from Blowout later on at a lower cost. I wouldn't hate it. But yeah, she does end up going with the Thing from Below, and now RDU has to figure out how he wants to respond to this. The Fireball picked up off the top looks fantastic. You get to just keep all your minions healthy, trade the 2-3 into the 1-1, help yourself play around Maelstrom Portal a little bit.
But play into an Air Power Totem into Maelstrom Portal?
Well, yeah, they got to roll the 25%, so...
They always do that, though.
They always do that.
Some interesting things about the RDU's deck is the fact that he is playing 1 Babbling Book.
All right.
2 Mana Vimps, of course, but a Polymorph. It's like a hybrid between aggro and control deck.
And he has the double Volcanic Potion,
yes,
which is really good against, you know, the aggro Druid and the Shaman to just be able to shut down that board control, keep him off the board. He is really targeting exactly what the deck Snowkiss is playing with his tech choices.
Fortunately for Snowkiss, she has some options to just blow out RDU as well. Like the Eater of Secret comes to mind first, but it's just a one-off, so you don't always draw it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Right?
The other big blowout thing is just the Jades in general. Just having the additional Jade cards, she can really ramp her Jades quite high. Like, she doesn't have Spirit Echoes for them, but Jade Spirit, Jade Lightning, Jade Claws, and Aya allows you to get a really large Jade count, which is always effective against controlling decks.
Look at that. 2 secrets in a
The Eater of Secrets value is going up.
Don't you think that RDU might play around the Eater of Secrets and just get the Gazer out?
I don't think so.
Whoopsie. But he's not gonna play this.
He's not gonna play it, yeah.
So he goes for the chip damage, which I like very much, because he actually is able to finish up the game with burn as well. So if he gets the chip damage from his early game minions in, it might actually win him the game as well.
Yeah, Mage has a lot of burn in the deck, so if you're able to just push through a bunch of damage, there's no healing in the Shaman deck from Snowkiss.
No, there's no healing at all. And for RDU, I actually can remember if he plays...
He's got the Pyroblast in there. He does not have Antinitis, but he does have Pyroblast, so he's got double Fireball, double Frostbolt, you know, the standard stuff. Double
and he has a Cabal Courier on top of that.
Okay, Courier can get additional burn as well. So...
Courier is a very interesting card choice because it's one of those cards that actually can get you back on the board. You don't have to pick a spell. You can pick a minion when you're really in a dire need of board control.
And a lot of players don't expect too many minions from Mage, so it can sometimes be kind of swingy. He's holding back this counterspell, playing around that Eater of Secrets quite nicely. Probably waiting until a point where he can kind of stop Bloodlust with counterspell. That would be super ideal. So wait for Snowkiss to get a big board out, then play the counterspell down so you can prevent the Bloodlust from happening. Multiple counterspells, so he can really lock out the Bloodlust. That's going to be really powerful. There's not too many spells in Shaman.
What's the secret right now? It's
the Ice Block.
Ice Block.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of unfortunate.
Why is that?
Because if he would like to play the second secret, he would rather have something else than Ice Block to just maintain, you know, safety later after he plays Eater of Secret.
Sure. He has another Ice Block in the deck that he can find, but this Volcanic Potion looks tasty.
I think I will just go for Volcanic Potion into Harrison Jones.
Yeah, me too. I think it's fantastic. If there's not met by Jade Lightning, you just Alex next turn, push 5 to face. There's no healing in the Shaman, and they have to forever be afraid of randomly dying to Pyroblast for the rest of the game.
Even if they have Jade Lightning, it's pretty awkward.
Yeah, it's pretty awkward, yeah. They're going to have a 4-4 against your 8-8. But he's thinking if maybe he needs to save it. It's his only clear in hand. He's thinking if maybe he just pings and passes and waits for more value on the Volcanic Potion later on. Oh, he's going to try and get this Eater's Secrets baited.
Think so? Alright, so RDU wants to get greedy. He plays around the Bloodlust right now, but the minions are there are only 2 minions. And there's only one deck hand in Snowkiss deck.
Right. And Patches has already been pulled, so 1 charger, no weapon to even give it the charge.
And if she plays the weapon, then RDU has the counter to that.
With the Harrison Jones, yeah.
Even
So
if that
stop the
happens.
charge.
So, exact mana to use the weapon deck hand into Bloodlust is the entire turn. So there's no way of playing around a counterspell. So this is a good setup against that play, and it gets you value out of the Harrison Jones. But in this case, well,
Yeah, the Eater's Secrets hurts. Even though, like, I guess you're not that sad it came down, but that is still pretty brutal. And now he has to worry about potentially dying to Bloodlust.
well, Bloodlust is plus 12 damage.
So, yeah.
So even if it's plus 12 damage, that's still not enough. No double Bloodlust can be played yet. Oh.
He has Snowkiss has 22 damage with like Bloodlust Lightning Bolt, or 23 with Bloodlust Jade Lightning. So she can set up for Lightning Bolt to be lethal on the following turn. And I think you do that.
Especially after Alexstrasza being used, so you know there's no reset for that health. I mean, not
Right,
reset,
and you have
health
this,
reset.
this beautiful Taunt Totem, which is currently contesting Alexstrasza, which is so clutch here. Yeah. I think he set him to 3. He doesn't have the heal. He needs to have the second Ice Block, otherwise you kill him. If he has Counterspell, you Bloodlust Lightning Bolt him. Yeah, when you're playing a Bloodlust deck, this is what you do.
Otherwise, you just lose the potential value, right? You need to do it when you can.
Yeah.
It's so hard to establish another board control.
Exactly. And it's... You're dead to, like, Volcanic Potion, Fireball. You're dead to a few things if you ignore the Alex. So she's going to respect the presence of the Alex, take care of that, not being as aggressive, trying to play around some of those potential lethal outs that RDU could have.
Oh, she played the deckhand. Interesting. So there's the read that there was no Volcanic Potion for a very long time, right?
So she's not expecting the AoE. Good thing she killed the Alex, she would have died.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have killed the Alex. I would have been super...
I would probably not make the choice as well.
I would have been super aggressive there and a little bit greedy. But it works out very well for her. So Volcanic Potion removes all of the minions except the Eater of Secrets. Eater of Secrets plus Jade Lightning plus Bloodlust is not enough to close out the game.
But at the same time, I feel like RDU should just commit to the Fireball.
Oh yeah, just get rid of the Eater of Secrets, yeah. If your opponent has no minions, you're doing well.
And the counterspell now is actually huge value.
Oh, it's insane.
Oh wait, he's going for the... Ooh.
He's going for the lethal setup with Pyroblast, and he can set it. He has the clear with the second Volcanic Potion in the ping. So if he draws Pyroblast, he wins the game. Otherwise, he has clears for the future turns. But
that's a fantastic draw actually for Snowkiss to play around the second counterspell.
Yeah. So she can break the counterspell with that, which allows her to play the Jade Lightning, creating a 3/3 Golem.
I think so. 1 Jade Spirit was played, and
1 Lightning, and
1 Lightning.
And Aya was played.
Oh, right, Aya was played. So that's a 4/4.
Yeah.
Oh wait, maybe there wasn't
The
a
Aya
Jade
got
second Jade Lightning.
polymorphed, so yeah.
All right. Well, the thing is, you need to play. Do you need to play around the counterspell, right? What are the blowouts? It can be a mirror entity.
Well, the thing is,
oh, she doesn't check for the counterspell. Probably wouldn't have done it myself, but at the same time, the Maelstrom Portal doesn't have any value in this matchup anymore,
exactly.
right?
Like, what is the Maelstrom Portal ever going to do? You're going to be playing it this turn anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's just a missequence.
Might have been.
Or maybe she values the 1-drop more, but I think that's an incorrect estimation
Well,
of its value.
Even if she wants to play Bloodlust Descent, she should play the Maelstrom Portal first, because you can get a boar and have a charge minion with +3 attack.
So that's just that is a missequence, I'd say. And I would have much preferred her to develop the Jade Lightning minion, but I guess she's afraid of Flame Strike at this point.
Well,
RDU really punished for his fireball play, by the way. the healing totem comes out to really make that that awkward for him. Getting the ping in towards the face, though, he's setting up for the second fireball, but the second fireball has been used.
He still has one glyph.
One glyph that could get a fireball, okay.
Now the second volcanic potion also is kind of awkward. Gets a card for Snowkiss out of that death rattle.
Launch that Jade Lightning.
Yeah, I would definitely play it.
Yeah, so that the Firelands portal doesn't clear your only minion. But
okay, she would have been.
She would have been blown up by Flame Strike. But there's one Flame Strike, there's 2 Fireland portals, so like I would say it's a lot better to play the Jade Lightning to try and set up for the lethal more often than not.
RDU is
He's dead.
going down. Not playing safe this turn. Well, to be fair, in this case, RDU would probably play the Jade Lightning if he would be Snowkiss. So what he read from the play was that that card was kind of useless. It wasn't like a lightning bolt. It wasn't like a. I mean, maybe it was.
He didn't really have too many other options anyway, I guess. If he flame strikes there, he's just falling still behind.
Well, is he? I mean, what he gains is another turn of top decking Pyroblast, Glyph, Ice Block.
All which would probably win him the game, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, RDU played that game really weird. He was really conservative with his clears. I did not like when he held on to the first Volcanic Potion.
Yeah,
I think that
like
was really weird. The fact that he had 2 Volcanic Potions in his hand and Snowkiss got a Bloodlust off on 4 minions, that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
There's something that went wrong there. That mid-game, RDU needs to be less conservative with his clears. He just felt, I guess, that he was maybe too afraid of the Jades ramping up later on, but you clear the board against Bloodlust Shaman. That's what you do.
Well, it's basically the same thing that we played for years against Druids with Savage Roars, right?
Right, you gotta make sure that can't happen. So we are seeing now the Hunter from Snowkiss up against the Control Paladin from RDU. And you said he was very confident with this deck.
Yeah, he was very confident with the Paladin. He said, literally, this deck, we're gonna get a free win.
Free win.
But it's this free win has to happen right now.
Right, and it's important. If Snowkiss goes up 3-1, she's gonna be on match point. And there's some of the tech cards you see from Snowkiss. She runs all 4 of the crabs and 1 copy of Vicious Fledgling in this Hunter deck. So it's a little interesting.
A little interesting, but look at that synergy. The Hyena is a key card as well, can just go nuts when it comes to the amount of beasts that she has. And also, when you play against a Paladin, I feel like Hunter actually benefits the most out of the minions because it's so hard to deal with the first turns against like a, let's say, coin out Fledgling turn 2. What does Paladin do?
They play Rallying Blade if they have it. That's why Rallying Blade's starting to surface in the metagame. But if they don't run Rallying Blade, then they cry a little bit.
Yep.
But yeah, the Paladin has limited removal options and really struggles against decks that can buff things. And Hunter is one of the current decks that if their minions stick around, they get a lot of buffs out of them. But Paladin's removal kit is only Equality, True Silvers, and Consecrates. Other than that, it's like Aldors and things kind of still stick around.
All right. RDU got saved.
Yeah, that is a big draw there. So the taunt can stop the Flappy Bird from punching him in the face and adapting. So you have to play it.
Yeah, I assume.
Well, the other option is the Equality. That's still fair. Equality is fair game.
It is, but if you play for the defenders, most likely doesn't die.
Well, you gotta worry about crackling Razor Maw could happen.
That can happen, but it's still far away from also Houndmaster.
Yeah, Houndmaster can't happen because it's turn 3. Huffer could happen off Animal Companion, so he respects a little bit of the ways that Snowkiss could kind of punish him for it.
Oh my god, he would have.
It worked out. Yeah, he would have gotten destroyed. He almost lost the game there, folks. So good on him, just cleaning that up, making sure it doesn't get out of control. He doesn't have an activator for the Equality yet, and even then, Equality is not the greatest against Hunter just because of the late game Death Rattle minions that kind of shut down your Equality clears. So when you can get value out of it early, it's not too bad.
To be fair, like the early game that is going for Snowkiss looks amazing for her. She always has gas and tempo play as well. I was thinking about the weapon for a second because it gets you the damage in from the Huffer, but then it dies next to guaranteed.
It's weak against Consecrate, but yeah, you get to push extra damage this way, and you get to set up 2 beasts for the Scavenging Hyena on the following turn. So yeah, it's a little bit of an interesting play, but I think it's better than what I was thinking. I was thinking just play Scavenging Hyena, Glock, or Crawler that turn, and this seems much stronger. Tarim picked up for RDU.
I like this setup.
Oh yeah, this is great.
I
And
like
you
the
can
setup
even just
because-
drop Tarim next turn.
Yeah.
Oh, she can deny the Tarim drop for next turn by developing the Rat Pack this turn. So then when the Doomsayer goes off, the Rat Pack dies, and she's left with 2 1/1s to help her contest the Sunkeeper Tarim.
But how often do you do that? Like this is...
I think every time. There's only like 1 6-drop from RDU. The only 6-drop is Sunkeeper Tarim, and Spike Ridge Steed. So, you know, they're setting up a Doomsayer going into turn 6 right after picking a card off Stonehill Defender. You have to imagine that's a big possibility. And it's just all about tempo, so I'd say keep the pressure up. Yeah, I like it.
Well played. Well played by Snowkiss. Now RDU has to respond with a different play than the Tyrant. Acolyte of Pain doesn't seem really bad. Unfortunately, there's a weapon, but at least to soak 3 damage, still get a card.
You can get Aldor out alongside it if you want, maybe.
One Aldor probably, but at the same time, you know that your opponent is running a lot of threats that needs to be peacekeepered after they're gonna play it, right?
The double high main, potentially.
And the Hunt Masters are also very important.
Right.
The Hyena is like a least problematic because even if you peacekeeper it still can grow out.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty problematic right now.
I was actually thinking about sacrificing the Rat as well, but at the same time it's still in range of a Trucifer champion, so it doesn't change much.
Right, it doesn't change too much, and you have to give your opponent an additional draw to do that. Is expensive. But the True Silver Champion picked up. He's got the Pyro Equality clear. Things are looking very swell for RDU. The crabs here for Snowkiss, those tech choices not really working out for her. They're much better if you're versing some sort of aggressive deck, and not very good against a control deck at all. Many control decks do not play Murlocs or Pirates.
For RDU, he's running 2 healing cards. That's basically Light Lord and Forbidden Healing.
Right.
That's about it. But
That's
hitting
about it.
1 here basically seals the deal.
Yeah, if he just stabilizes the board and then heals, it's all over. Because right now, once Snowkiss loses the board, her game plan is going to be burning him over the top. So he just needs to find a healing card now that he's won the board, and that will close out the game for him. And Snowkiss is very far away from burning him out over the top, so he's got some time. Unless she rolls Huffer here, then she gets pretty close pretty quick.
Oh my.
Uh-oh.
RDU with the subtle smile on his face.
She's been weaving in these hero powers for the last 3 turns. That damage is adding up. She's starting to get into that 1-kill command range. RDU does have a True Silver, though, you could utilize for healing.
But this is the time when you need to play the Tyrant just to play around second weapon.
Well, he's really scared because there could be kill command in Snowkiss's hand. Those 2 Hungry Crabs have been there for most of the game.
But he's aware there are so many just useless cards in this matchup as well for the Hunters. So having to set up a taunt before your opponent can have... Oh, interesting. Just charge menus and the second charge of the weapon. Like, you can't really play around kill command. There's no way you're going to play around it.
It's tough to play around for sure.
So I feel like you just need to stop anything else that comes to your face, and that will be the taunt minion.
Yeah, get the taunt minion out there. Start developing your counterattack. Because if you give Hunter infinite time, they can hero power infinite amount of times, and they'll kill you. So you got to clock them back so they aren't allowed Snowkiss to hero power, and you can just kill her.
So she's able to kill the Tyrant, but that set up a trade on the Thunder Rhino with the Recruit.
Yeah, and you
that's
lose
sad.
everything. Yeah, that's awful.
And
you
you
miss
also
the
don't
hero
use-
power. Yeah.
exactly.
So I imagine she wants to hero power this turn. The consideration is maybe you play one of these Hungry Crabs. Maybe you just play the Tundra Rhino and pass.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like this. Weaving in the hero power is actually important because you
And
know
having 1 Hungry Crab in your hand for the bluff value is really good. Playing them both, then RDU is not afraid of that potentially being a kill command.
I feel like RDU needs to set up some form of healing, and that will be, of course, the True Silver Champion.
I want to see him like True Silver Aldor, I think.
Man, he was actually thinking about Curator?
If you go face for 6 and then swing with the True Silver, that's 10 this turn, and then you can just play Aldor hero power alongside it. You're basically setting up lethal for the following turn, right? How much damage do you have the next turn? 3, 6,
Is that...
9,
Wait, that's...
13, 14.
That's 9, that's 13.
I don't see any reason to
14.
trade with the minion. You have taunts.
Well, he just wants to play around the kill command this way.
Would you play around the kill command by healing?
No. I mean, yeah. What I mean is just when you do this setup,
So-
when you just play Truce of a Champion, you probably go phase.
If he had done 6 additional face damage, would he have set up lethal? So Snowkiss would be 6 health lower, she'd be at 17, he would have 9, 10, 14, 15, 16. So he would not have set up lethal, so his way is correct because you don't set up lethal either way, so you might as well trade, go for the 3-turn lethal, since there is no 2-turn lethal.
Alright, it looks pretty damning for Snowkiss right now.
She can make her way through the 1 taunt minion and hope there's not an additional taunt minion by swinging at it with the Eagle Horn bow.
But then she, again, doesn't use the hero power.
No, she just swing with the Eagle Horn bow to set up to get through it, and then hero
okay.
power.
That's what you meant. Okay.
And then just pass after that and hold on to the crab and the Tundra Rhino.
Oh, okay, it looked like she wanted to play the Thunder Rhino.
I don't like not swinging.
I don't like that either, to be honest. Is the bug still working with the explosive trap and the Truce of a Champion? That it goes like to -1 and then heals back to 1?
Yeah, you can live through an explosive trap with True Silver.
It's like 3 years already.
I don't think it's a bug. That's just True Silver heals first.
Sorry, the double heal. Because what it does, when you die, you go to -1, it stops the attack, but it heals back to 1, and you still can swing, and you go to 3.
Oh, I don't know if that bug's still a thing, but I know if you can go to negative health while killing things with True Silver.
Yeah, but what I meant is just the additional attack, because that was happening all the time. But I didn't check it for like a very long period of time as well.
So, 2 taunts in the way. Not really much to get through here. It looks like RDU was right, and this Paladin's going to take an easy win. The Houndmaster is not very much help. She could taunt up the Tundra Rhino to try and stay alive. She taunt up the Hungry Crab, okay. Does she stay alive, though, is the thing.
It's a 5-6 minion, in theory. Doesn't really help up with clearing up the taunts. And she is still dead when she does that. On board? Is she dead on board? Wait.
She's definitely dead with the True Silver in RDU's hand, but she's going to try and stay alive here on board.
Oh, she could kill the Curator instead, but then the crab dies.
Yeah. There's 9 damage in play after the minion trades in. So, trade in with the Aldor and the
5,
Curator,
7, 8.
and then push face for 6, lethal on board. Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be lethal on board if you would trade with the Curator.
Nah, it's still lethal.
She deals 1 more damage, but then... Nah, never mind. Yeah, it's still lethal.
Yeah, so RDU able to close that one out with the Control Paladin. He was very confident with the deck. He says, you know what, this is my free win deck, and he was right, able to get there. Both of the Warriors were banned, so RDU still needs to find a win with that Rogue that's going to be tricky, and that Mage, which we thought was going to be tricky. But
now we go to Richard for a second to see his prediction board, and then we're going to talk about matches.
Yeah, so throughout the entire weekend, we've been giving all the pros a chance to actually jump in and try to select which player they think is going to win in each matchup. Now, obviously, we jump in at a tie right now in the series. We have this leaderboard right here, and I'm also joined by Zalay to talk about the prediction that he actually made. That I can see on the board, you actually put your chip onto RDU. What was your reasoning behind that?
Well, Snowkiss has an aggro lineup, and RDU has an anti-aggro lineup. A lot of tech cards in there that are good against aggro, like double Volcanic Potion and the Mage. Backstab isn't really a tech card, but like the Rogue has double Backstab, double SI7 agent. Quest Warrior's half taunts, half removal. So it's just a bunch of stuff that's good against aggro, which is what Snowkiss is playing.
Are you surprised to see Snowkiss at this point? She's already massed up 2 wins. Did you think it was going to be easier for RDU?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping RDU would be up like 3-1 at this point, because Snowkiss will destroy me if I play her. She is the one person I really want to avoid in this tournament.
So a little bit of hopeful betting as well as being practical. We can see, though, PF and Nyman did put their chips on Snowkiss, but I know that Nyman's been betting very aggressively. I think he's trying to catch up. If you haven't been watching the entire weekend, everyone is kind of placing their chips and trying to win a prize at the end of the weekend. Do you know where you currently sit in the standings? I feel like you were even at the end of the day yesterday. Yeah, right in the middle. So is that affecting how you place your chips at all? Are you trying to be slightly more aggressive at this point?
I mean, maybe I should be, but I don't think this is the matchup to be aggressive. Like, the lineups are pretty one-sided in RDU's favor.
So I know you're definitely very hopeful that he does pull ahead also because that is better for you. Is there anyone else in Group B that you're really hoping doesn't progress?
No, Snowkiss is the one person in the tournament that I'm really afraid of right now. Everyone else, I feel like my chances are good.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see how this series actually concludes. The players are ready now, so I'm going to throw it up to the casters so we can jump into the next game.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Well, you were speaking about how a free win was at Paladin, right? But it was shaky in the beginning.
It was definitely shaky. It was definitely shaky. Hunter had the ability to almost snowball away with the game, but RDU was just narrowly able to stabilize. He didn't find the heal that he really needed. He had the True Silver to kind of act as heal, and it was just good enough for him to make it. So, yeah, I mean, it's a 2-2 series. And like Zalay was saying, it is anti-aggro against aggro. So that's just really showing the strength of aggro right now. That RDU's entire lineup's designed to beat Snowkiss's, and it's still 2-2, and he has both of his problem decks remaining. I would say Snowkiss might even be a slight favorite at this point.
Especially with that Rallying Blade. It's one of the cards in our Paladin lineup, in the Paladin deck. It's actually fantastic against Rogue. It kills the Agent, it kills the Lasher in the beginning, gets that tempo back on the board where she can develop the Murlocs and not be worried about, you know, the devastating power from Rogue.
It's definitely a good card to have. When you get coin aside, a lot of the times if you don't have a Rallying Blade, you're just dead. So having that to fall back on after the coin SI comes out, patches drawn.
At least it's golden, so you can admire its beauty.
Yeah, you hate to see that. But overall, the hand from RDU is very solid. Having the coin is fantastic already. Having SI7 is very good. And even the Lasher is quite strong. And you can't really complain about Vile Spine. It's more removal. All you want is removal. The Paladin will kind of gas itself out, and then you kind of win in the later stages. So the only thing that could really help out more would be picking up like a backstab. But develops the patches here, wants to be able to dagger on turn 2.
That is super interesting because I think that the Paladin runs Golaka Crawlers. Let me check.
Golaka Crawlers in the Paladin? I mean, Paladin does have a lot of really weak 2-drops, so it would make some sense, but it's not something you see very often, that's for sure. But she does have a lot of Golaka Crawlers in her other decks.
Almost every single deck.
Yeah, the Hunter had all 4 crabs even.
Maybe I'm wrong, but let me check. Yeah, I'm wrong.
Okay, no Golaka Crawlers.
Yeah, but that's the Eater of Secrets.
The Eater of Secrets, yeah, for sure. And the Mage is still remaining for RDU, so that tech is going to come in handy. So now she's trying to debate whether or not she wants to Bluegill Warrior, Grimscale Oracle, or Hero Power.
So if she goes for the Grimscale Oracle, that means she's going to trade.
I don't know if that's necessarily true that she's still going to trade.
It's 3 damage if she doesn't, right? And then still probably the title will die to the dagger, which is additional 3 damage.
You
so
hope that it dies
damage.
to the dagger, yeah, and gets 6 damage. The punish is coin SI if you don't trade.
And backstab.
And backstab. Both of those are huge punishes. She goes in with the face damage, and this is going to be a huge blowout here. Coin SI gets to come down. RDU gets full board control.
Interesting mind games, to be honest.
It's a big gamble.
Yeah, the way that RDU played did telegraph, I'm going to use my dagger next turn. I have no answer to that tight collar, and I know how snowbally that card is. I need to kill it ASAP. This way, Snowkiss played, like, you know, in an aggressive way that did punish that dagger, and now she's getting blown out because RDU had actually in a way, and it was just bluffing. But at the same time, the blade is here for the rescue.
Yeah, so able to get back on board. Otherwise, you hate to play like Hydrologist into an SI7, get value traded, and just slowly lose the game. So stabilization there is, of course, good. I prefer the dagger here from RDU, I think, rather than the Razor Petal Lasher, just because the Razor Petal Lasher develops nothing because it dies to the blade. So
and
you don't actually,
spell
and you don't really need the spell right now. So you create nothing on board, but the dagger, you actually preserve something. So I guess you force them to use the weapon, but I'm not that big of a fan of it.
Maybe he thinks he will gonna need that Reso Pedal in conjunction and Defend of Knives maybe next turn.
Okay.
But that means...
But then you could have used it in conjunction with the dagger.
Yeah, exactly. And he's still high on health. Well, it's an interesting choice. Like, what you're gonna do with this is that you guarantee that the blade will be used on a smaller minion than a
Blade might not be used at all. Looks like she's thinking about trying to save the blade, use the Bluegill Warrior, which breaks up the combo of the Murloc War Leader plus Bluegill Warrior for the following turn.
Wouldn't you like to just say hero power instead and just use the blade?
I definitely like using the blade. The question becomes secret or hero power. Chooses to go with the secret, which gets shut down by the dagger. But this plays around dagger plus Razor Petal clearing off the minion, and she knows he has a Razor Petal, so she's trying to deny that from clearing off her Murloc minion so she can buff it with War Leader and apply a lot of damage.
For RDU, there's a guessing game now. It can be Redemption, it can be Noble Sacrifice, it can be Getaway Kodo. If it's Getaway Kodo, then you don't really want to use any removal at all.
Well, you kind of want to kill all the minions anyway. You just don't want to take damage. The longer the game goes on, the better for you. I would say you want to try and just dagger Razor Petal it if you can. Worst case, if it's Noble Sacrifice, you could use a backstab, but I like saving the backstab for the following turn for the activation for your Vilespine Slayer. It's such a key card to be able to activate on curve.
That's
it's a
gonna be
big
crucial.
tempo swing, yeah. So you just try and dagger it plus Razor Petal it. He's not even going to try and dagger it.
And that is getting punished by a Blessing of Kings. And RDU knows that there are 2 Blessing of Kings in that deck.
Okay. Well, Blessing of Kings going into 5 is scary, because that's when Lasher can come out.
Yep.
So she's going to forgo the Blessing of Kings this turn, just kind of go wide on the board.
That's a lot of damage.
It's
8
a lot of
damage. Alright. So, War Leader dies. And on top of that, you can actually, what you can do is backstab Paddle into Fan of Knives. But you just need to take into account the secret first as well.
Yeah, not knowing what that secret is super awkward now, but...
Maybe he should have actually attacked less than Fates, right? To check for Noble Sacrifice.
Yeah, he's gonna figure it out now. Now he's pretty much sure it's Noble Sacrifice. It's either Noble Sacrifice or eye for an eye after, this sequence has happened. So now he's gonna poke into the Noble Sacrifice, be fine. He got the power swing of the backstab Vilespine out there. But now that the Vilespine's been used, Blessing of Kings is live. That card is just solid now. So, 100% I think she just kings him in the face.
All the other options go wide with Murlocs.
The other options are strong too. They're both kind of appealing.
It's appealing because most likely something will be alive for the next turn.
Right. But when you see the Vilespine, the only answer is the second Vilespine, or he has to have like backstab Eviscerate, or he has to Eviscerate and trade in the 3/4. It's just so much damage coming in.
Ooh. To the rescue, Eviscerate.
I mean, to the rescue to some extent, but it's still expensive. You have to forgo your entire board. You trade in your...
Whoa, wait.
You could take 6 to the face.
Petal, right?
Oh, you have the Razor Petal. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you gotta preserve the 3/4. So yeah, Eviscerate to the rescue. No kidding.
And now, something we witnessed for a very serious amount of times when it comes to the Paladin, he is behind, and there's not really an easy way of coming back on the board.
Well, these Murlocs help. All she needs is one of the buffers after this, like a Gentle Megasaur or a War Leader to close it out, because these guys are sticking around.
A few will die, but not a lot of them.
Yeah, only one can really go down conveniently at the moment.
Mimic Foot is something that we don't usually see in Miracle Rogues, right?
It's becoming more and more common. It's a one of, I'd say.
Holy
Holy
light.
light, there you go. RDU definitely
Holy
needs some healing. Yeah.
Light.
So you could heal up and drop the Edwin Van Cleef this turn.
It's actually fantastic when you think about it. Mitigates at least one turn of attack, unless your opponent top decks the Blessing of Kings or the Gentle Megasaur. But if that happens, you're being blown out anyway. Other cards don't really help in this situation.
Right.
I mean, the Sunkeeper Tower maybe actually...
Well, you need to be able to clear more of your opponent's board. Right now, they got 4 minions. You can only clear 1, so...
Well, if you play it this turn, you kill 1,
and
then you play Sunkeeper Terran, But the Sunkeeper Tyrant basically has a trade on board. If your opponent doesn't get Gentle Megazord or the Blessing of Kings, you're fine.
Yeah, that is true.
Of course, there's one True Silver champion still in the deck.
Right.
So they're like...
He is going with the Sunkeeper Terram. He does get a taunt this way, which is a big deal. He's playing it out this turn. If there is no buff card, like you said, that is going to be the saving grace. But, yeah, this is a big punish for him now.
That is a fantastic draw for Snowkiss.
Yeah, it seems strange. You really like the Terran better than the Holy Light.
Probably would have went for the Holy Light.
Okay.
But I can see
You see the
why.
logic, sure. Yeah, just because if no buff happens, you do full clear after this.
Yeah.
So he was taking a little bit of a gamble there, but...
Well,
Okay.
this is not bad. You can go for the Mimic Pot first. You don't play the Gazeton.
Well, you could go for the Fan first. You have 2 counterfeit coins left, and this is the first prep. So if you go Gadgets and prep Fan, you have a decent chance of finding like second Eviscerate or a counterfeit coin to have some action. I think it's Gadget prep Fan, yeah. The other play is Mimic Pod and hope to hit a removal spell.
Oh my god.
Well, there you go. Now you prep Eviscerate, Edwin win the game. Well, he's going to be at 4 life after this because he has to dagger down the 1/1. He could try and use Fan of Knives instead of Edwin, and then he doesn't have to dagger down the 1/1, but you're just delaying the inevitable if True Silver is drawn anyway. So you need to get this Edwin out to start counter-pressuring your opponent. But yeah, that was the best card he could have got off Mimic Pod right there.
But it's still not a really easy decision to make.
She has 1 True Silver in her deck because she runs 1 True Silver, 1 Rallying Blade.
2 Gentle Megazords are still there. A Spiker Steed.
Right. Well, she's got no board, so...
Well, she can still just hero power, right?
I guess.
And the problem is that...
The Spikeridge Steed could allow you to have a minion afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, Edwin can't trade into both these minions at once.
Yep.
So... There's that. You get 2 damage through, setting up lethal with her 1 of Consecrate and the 2nd copy of the Bluegill Warrior in her deck.
That's a terrible draw. So now there's few things to think about. If you go Fan first, you can get a 2nd Lasher or a Vilespine Slayer.
He only runs 1 Lasher.
Oh, really?
But he can get the 2nd Vilespine Slayer, yeah. He could also hit...
Backstab doesn't help. SI Agent.
SI7, yeah, there's 1 SI7 in there. Or you can get the board presence of the Gadgets in. Because... kind of need to start setting up for some sort of lethal here.
Is it a prep? No, but
he would have hit the SI7.
Oh.
Hits the counterfeit coin, though.
Hallucination into what?
It's not going to do it. Now she has Spikeridge Steed, Consecrate, Bluegill Warrior, Murloc War Leader, and 2 copies of Gentle Megazord. So
that was pretty close to actually dying.
About half of her deck there could have maybe made something happen. And now RDU is going down to 1 life. He has 14 on board. Not enough to close the game out currently. The counterfeit coin's a good start to the turn. You don't actually
fantastic.
You don't get the extra mana though because
well, you want to get off that combo, right? So even if you hit off, the only bad card that you can draw is no. You use the fans.
He's
so
used the fans.
Basically, there's nothing bad. You don't need that 1 mana more.
Picks up the prep.
Still, True Silver Champion.
It still
wins
gets there.
the game.
And Consecrates and Bluegill Warrior. So there are 3 cards in Snowkiss's deck that can kill RDU, even if her board is completely killed. So she's drawing for 3 outs out of what appears to be...
like 18?
18, yeah. I'd say like 18. That's
oh my god, that's
the
the Consecration. Snowkiss gets
just
the final card.
Barely able to get it. And you gotta look back at the decision by RDU to go Gadget Fan instead of just Fan.
Yeah.
Right? That's where it's like, maybe you get a way to not take that 2 damage there, and now suddenly Consecrate's not an out, Bluegill Warrior's not an out, you lower your chances of losing the game.
I'm not sure about it. I would probably just go for the Fan of Knives first.
Right, and then if you miss, then play the Gadget. Like, the draw is not the most important part there, but the 4/4 body after that.
Yeah, you still develop the board presence, right?
Right, that's the most important part, is your chance not to take damage and then the board presence. I think those are the 2 priorities there. I think draw is the 3rd priority on that list. So I think that's the play that a little wonky.
And the Terram was also
the Terram was very questionable too, yeah.
I really understand why did he do that, but still there were so many outs for for Snowkiss
Right,
to
yeah.
blow out that situation.
True Silver Kings.
I mean, without that Mimic Pot into Eviscerate, he would have
He
straight
would
out
have just died,
lost.
yeah. So he got lucky to be in this game. And so it's not actually that insane that Snowkiss was still able to win. Because that Mimic Pot Eviscerate. But Snowkiss on match point now with the Hunter up against RDU's Mage. And typically speaking, Hunter has a pretty good matchup against Mage because of the mid-range pressure and how sticky their minions can be against Mage removal. You look at things like Kindly Grandmother, you look at things like High Main. A lot of the time, these minions are difficult to remove with Mage removal.
Look at that curve. That is actually insane. The Crackling Reservoir on 10-2 feels like something that you shouldn't be able to do normally. If you just play it and you have a target for it, it's completely bonkers.
It's so good. Absolutely disgusting card. One of the cards that really made Hunter see a lot more play in Ungaro, just how powerful Crackling Razormaw is. There's no Eater of Secrets in this deck, but there is...
that deck does actually... which is kind of funny, because historically speaking, Hunter's one of those decks that actually always had a response to secrets. Flare, right? And no one else had anything, and there's like Flare. Then we had...
I'm surprised she doesn't just put a Flare in this with the Eater of Secrets in her other decks, you know, just to make the lineup come together a little bit. But Hunter typically does have a favorable matchup against Mage. So it makes sense why it's, I guess, not in there. It's saving the coin here. She wants to be able to coin Houndmaster out.
Which is so powerful.
Yeah, it's insane. You pretty much always have one of these minions sticking for the Razormaw on the following turn. She could even use Direwolf Alpha to trade up if she felt. But
I like the Crackling Razormaw.
sometimes you whiff with the Crackling Razormaw.
That's the second adapt that she whiffs.
Yeah. Gets 1 extra damage in, though.
Still fine.
You know, adds priority to that minion. RDU has to worry about that. He needs to kill it going into this Houndmaster turn.
The Houndmaster would actually just deal 6 damage this turn, right? So that's powerful.
You gotta get rid of that. Frostbolt coming down. She has the coin Houndmaster play to clear and leave a 3-1 behind, or she has the Direwolf Alpha coin Kindly Grandmother, or there's the gamble of the Animal Companion.
I like Direwolf Alpha and Kindly Grandmother, to be fair.
Me as well. I don't think you really want a 3-1 and a 4-3. It's very vulnerable to the ping. This is the high roller play.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, this gets super punished. If you don't get Leok there, you lose the game to like a lot of different removal spells here. Fireball loses the game, Frostbolt loses the game, Rolling Huffer loses you the game. So she needed exactly Leok, otherwise you open yourselves up to Frostbolt and Fireball here, both to put you in a really behind position. Now the Houndmaster can't even go off. That play right there,
weird.
Yeah.
That was really weird.
Either the Houndmaster or the 2-drop coin 2-drop, I think, were a lot stronger.
So, coming into turn 5, you can't really play now multiple minions unless it's Kindly Grandmother because it has Death Rattle, but it still dies to Volcanic Potion.
Yeah.
So now she's on a
board state.
She's on a in a situation when she needs to be really aware how to play her minions to not be blown out by a single Volcanic Potion. And that is so bad when you hold cards like Huntmaster and Double Direwolves, which thrive on board synergy.
Well, she has saved the coin this entire game for this high main, so that's going to work out very powerfully because there is no Polymorph currently in the hand for RDU. He has a Glyph that could try and find it, but coining out high main, one of the most powerful plays in Hunter.
RDU has 1 Polymorph in his deck.
Okay.
1 Polymorph, and there's still Polyglyph.
Yeah, Polyglyph. And he's got a Babbling Book, so, you know, he can
that always gets
he can always
right?
Pavel him, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. Amnesiac is still salty about Pavel. Landing that book, getting that Polymorph.
That actually happened in StarLadder group stage as well.
Did it?
Yeah.
On a Malagos?
I don't think on the Malagos, but it was something like really big. And
sure.
Pavel was laughing on the camera. Was like, nah, that's not really something you see often, you know.
RDU trying to set up for this Flame Strike here.
I don't blame him. Even the Houndmaster is pretty sad about it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What you can do, you can Houndmaster the Kindly Grandmother, take a value trade, and then smash for 4 damage to the face, and can still have a decent opening.
Razormaw. Something that can make it live through... Oh, Wind Fury. There you go. Just take the damage, right?
That is so big. 8 damage to the face.
And then send everything to the dome. She has a lot of damage in her hand right now, too, as well. Tundra Rhino plus Direwolf Alpha is 5 by itself. Flame Strike comes down, though, gets the full clear on the board. The 2-3 does die, though. It has to trade into a 3-2 on.
But still, when you think about it, Tundra Rhino with Direwolf.
Oh, Tundra Rhino.
Okay, no, don't play the Tundra Rhino now, right now. Oh, that is so sick if you just keep it.
Yeah, but this is... She's going full aggressive. She feels like she can't wait.
To be fair, I would just prefer... You deal 5 damage with this, right?
Right.
But if you play double Direwolves and Hero Power, you deal 2. You set up a good board presence, and next turn, your Fledgling is actually so sick.
It's insane, yeah. You just roll Wind Fury with it and win the game, but... RDU doesn't have the response to this. He doesn't have a Firelance Portal in hand.
He needs to go for removal for the Tundra Rhino.
Yeah.
There's the Fireball and the Firelance Portal.
Right, and he can play it for 5 if he wants. He might feel like he wants to take the Fireball so he can Ice Block this turn as well, right?
Okay, I can understand that, yeah. Yeah.
And then if you Ice Block this turn, if you get popped, you Alex yourself, and you're fine. So...
Definitely solid decision. Like, the 5-drop is not really that important. You're gonna win by Medivh, most likely, after your Alexstrasza. Or just Alexstrasza wins the game, right?
Right.
And
Jewel Macaw for Tundra Rhino?
I guess. For the next turn Fledgling, right? But it... Oh, okay. That's actually not bad
as well. Well, if you get +3 attack...
That's 5/7. So it's still Ice Block is not getting popped. That allows RDU to play Medivh next turn.
Yeah.
Man, that Fledgling with charge, I'm just so salty that we didn't see that. That's so powerful.
It is very strong, yeah. It can get out of control quick. But she needed to play something. So, +3 attack can get RDU down to 2. Wind Fury.
Wind Fury, okay.
3, 6.
That's 8.
Gets him down to 1.
Huh. So RDU can't really get a value trade right now because those Direwolf Alphas need to die.
He needs to, I'd say, just draw for Volcanic Potion. He didn't get popped this turn, so next turn he can Alex. If you get some sort of clear this turn, then you can Alex in an area where you're not going to die. He has the Ice Block still up. It was not popped, so...
Wouldn't you prefer to play Cabal Courier first?
You have 2 Volcanic Potions in your deck.
Yeah, but if you play Cabal Courier first, you can get an actual clear.
You can get Blizzard.
You can get Blizzard. Sure. You can get a Volcanic Potion as well, but there are more options when it comes to different clears that you can get from it, and that can be more expensive. But if you play Arcane Intellect first, then you might not be guaranteed to get Cabal Courier. And
I did not expect him to do this.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait.
So the idea here is he's got another Ice Block, so he's fine anyway. But if he doesn't find the burn, he's going to die.
Well, he's thinking about like Dark Arcane Intellect and the Cabal Courier here. That gives him...
The interesting thing here is Snowkiss can't even full clear this board, can she?
Well, it doesn't have charge. This is 4...
So she can only kill the Alex. She can't kill the Alex and the Mana Worm? Because the Direwolf's debuff.
6? No, it's 8. Because you use the first Direwolf Alpha to the Mana Worm. Mistakes happened. She had a full clear.
Are you sure?
The Alex was on 2.
Okay. Oh, the Alex was on 2. Yeah. So missing this full clear here is huge.
That was actually crucial.
She's going to die now. The Mana Worm just it's enough damage with the Medivh's Valet, the Ice Block.
And probably... Okay, it didn't matter that much.
It didn't matter, but...
Because he would still have lethal over 2 turns. But in retrospect, she had a full clear, but the one Direwolf Alpha had to go first into the Mana Worm.
Yeah, but even if she had traded correctly, RDU did find the Fireball, so he could Fireball into Ice Block, into Medivh's Valet Ping, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
The following turn. So he squeezes in the 2 pings, gets the 9 damage from Fireball and Medivh's Valet, and has the game. But that was a really aggressive line from RDU. If he doesn't find the burn spell, and she full clears the board, he does lose that game.
Yeah, and I feel like...
there were safer things he could have done.
I'm thinking about it. Like, he plays a hybrid control-ish aggro mage, right? It's hard to estimate exactly the mathematical chances of which one is better, like on the spot, right? Especially for us when we don't see what's left in the deck.
Well, we know what's left in the deck. So he needs to find like 2 burn spells if his board gets cleared, because he didn't have the Medivh's Valet at the time either, to be able to close it out over 2 turns. So he either needs to find 2 burn spells in the next 3 draws, or he needs to find 1 volcanic potion in the next 3 draws, or 2 draws, and the Cabal Courier. So the odds of which one of those 2 things happening is higher comes out to be the better play there.
Gladiator's Longbow from a Swashbuckler. We can make fun of it, but it's actually insane.
It's pretty good, yeah. You're able to get trades without taking damage, which is what you want to be doing as the rogue player against the hunter.
That's a heal card that destroys minions. It's like Holy Fire for 2 times. Oh, just kills the opponent.
Yeah, it is 10 damage. It's a Pyroblast for 7 over 2 turns, which isn't bad.
Now this is kind of awkward. I feel like you need to keep the coin for the Animal Companion on turn 2, because you're guaranteed to lose the Deacon the Grandmother. Like 100%.
It just dies on board, yeah.
Yeah.
But then you can repopulate with Alley Cat, I guess. You're forcing your opponent to dagger rather than coining out a 3-drop, which is, well, I guess you don't even know they have counterfeit coin. So yeah, it is strange.
RDU has the counterfeit coin. If he gets hallucination, I would assume he'll just go nuts with Edwin. But the other play is to have the Questing Adventure as well.
With the Direwolf Alpha over the Alley Cat. Plays around Fan of Knives quite handily.
I like that.
Works out.
So there's no more coin. So if you just play your Questing Adventurer and you just pass, your opponent needs to trade into it.
That is true, unless they have Eaglehorn Bow.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that Fear War Axe for 3 mana.
The 3 mana weapon. Not a bad turn. Unfortunately, it is a Rat Pack for RDU. He was really hoping he could go Questing Adventure, Coin Eviscerate, or Coin Eviscerate Edwin Van Cleef, but this Rat Pack kind of shuts that down. If it was an Animal Companion, he would have that tempo swing to just kind of win the game, but now he has to figure out a new way to deal with this.
Well, he used the Fan of Knives, and now he'll have problems if that Deuterat will get an Adept, will get a Houndmaster, Leok even, right?
Yeah.
Every single minion coming out of that is now almost guaranteed damage to the face, or a really good buff for Hyena.
Yeah.
Give me a quest.
Developing his Questing Adventure here. Doesn't die on board, so it requires a buff, but these 1/1s that are going to be coming out are going to be a big deal. Without that Fan of Knives, this Rat Pack being buffed creates 4 1/1s when it dies.
That could have been something that RDU just made, like, you know, because it looked good on that turn.
It was good on that turn, but
was it good enough to...
I know, that's the thing, right? With 2 Rat Packs, 2 Alley Cats.
Look at RDU right now. He's like, yeah, I made a boo-boo.
Fan of Knives. You might want to hold that against Hunter, I guess. Holy smokes. Rat Pack's insane.
You know what's even funnier is that RDU, and when he was talking about the top cards from Ungoro, he was like, Rat Pack is sick.
It is sick. Look at this.
I guess you don't attack into it and just kill the Houndmaster with Eviscerate this turn. So you can go Coin Eviscerate Edwin.
Okay. Having a giant Edwin is pretty good.
Although you can go for Coin...
He's thinking about setting up the Piranha Launcher. That seems insane. He has the worst weapons in the game in his hand.
So he kills the 1/1 with the Piranha Launcher. Swashbuckler comes into Rat Pack, I mean, and then you trade with the 1/1.
And having all of these 1/1s on the field is extremely scary. But yeah, you go Razor Petal Lasher, Coin, Razor Petal Edwin, right?
Is that enough time? RDU is roping. He goes for the Eviscerate.
All right, that slows down the most pressure on the board, but you develop nothing. You don't get this Edwin out there. Oh my! They can come down with an Animal Companion as well.
I would prefer to actually sacrifice 2 rats instead of going for Leok first.
Okay. Yeah, just to get your minion at a higher health total. It does not get it outside of the range of Eviscerate, but
it does get out of range of backstab into Fan of Knives.
right.
Basically.
So she plays around rolling Leox so that she can buffer Hyena more, get it to that 4 health, so it's a little bit more difficult to kill. The Razor Petal with the Vile Spine's sick, though.
It is. It's one of the ways.
Even Gladiator Longbow.
Oh, actually, that's.
I think that's
as
better.
well.
Coin
It
Gladiator
sets up-
Longbow.
It sets up a better play for next turn when you can still Viceman Slayer.
Right. Yeah, just Longbow that Hyena. All right. I don't know. It's still close because the Razor Petal does get to kill one of the rats, and you get to save the coin then for Edwin plays.
For a second, I had a heart attack that he just had an Eviscerate instead of the Viceman Slayer. I'm like, uh-oh.
So you get
That
to
guy
go,
has 5.
So you get to go next turn. He has Coin Vilespine Edwin next turn, is what he's setting up for with that. But this is a lot of damage coming in. The bow is 6. There's 6 on board.
I would prefer the Hero Power this turn.
Really?
Hero Power Tabby.
Okay.
I mean,
And then you can just
Alicat?
equip the bow on another turn with
Yes.
another hero power. Because you're saying the clock's not fast enough to get there.
I mean, you have 2 Leos on board. And
Yeah.
you know your opponent doesn't have a Fan of Knives.
Right. They've already played 1, and they didn't play 1 when you had 4 1-1s out there.
Exactly.
I agree with you. I think the pacing might be a little better, but she feels like she has enough damage with the 2 swings of the Eaglehorn bow. She doesn't need to start milking the hero power just yet.
So now, the better play is instead of the Gladiator's Longbow, the Coin Viceman Slayer Edwin. But you still get 5 damage to the face and hero power, which is 7. It's half of your HP.
Yeah, and then a kill command closes this game out.
Well, that's really helpful.
So now, both Vile Spines are gone. This high main is a little bit difficult to deal with, but
And it's really not enough damage to pressure that Hunter down.
if you don't use the hero power this turn, then you're not setting your opponent down to 7. You're not setting up kill command to be lethal. So that's the cost of playing high main. Unless Leok connects, or some of the alley cats connect, you do not have lethal with the kill command anymore. So you're relying on some of this board sticking around, which is fairly likely because high main is in play.
It's a Mimic Pod.
Is there a full clear here? There's not a full clear. Unless you Mimic Pod into what? What could allow it? He's got backstabs. He's got 1 Eviscerate. There's not a lot of things that he could Mimic Pod into. Oh, man. So, he's going to be able to remove most of the pressure on the board, leaving just the Alley Cat and the Tabby Cat behind.
But that's still 4 damage to the face.
Right.
And he has...
That's enough for kill command to be lethal.
And he's still like falling back on the health totals.
And he's not setting up any sort of lethal.
Exactly.
He's not really pushing.
He's dead in 3 turns, basically.
Right.
Like, guaranteed.
He's just going to get hero power to death unless he's able to really, get on the offensive here.
And that's the kill command!
And Snowkiss is going to defeat the anti-aggro lineup with her aggro lineup.
To be fair, RDU played really aggressively as a control deck, and he got punished
He got punished a lot, yeah. It was kind of interesting. He might have been too confident going into this match and a little bit punished by it, but congratulations to Snowkiss winning that 7-game series. Went all the way down to the wire, just able to pull it out. I think she won almost all of her games against RDU's Rogue.
Yes, that's correct.
So
that's
bringing
correct.
Rogue in your anti-aggro lineup might be something to think about looking at the just lineup construction phase of it all, because all of his other decks are fantastic against aggro, but he's got that one weakness in Conquest. He can really exploit one weakness.
Well, we all know Rogue had always one weakness: weapons. Like the
Weapons,
weapons
sure.
just smash his face, and it's like, yeah,
You got
can't
no
really do
taunt,
much.
no heal, you're done.
Now you have hallucinations that can help a little bit, but at the same time, it still feels like it's not the class that you want to bring as you said against
Yeah,
aggro.
against anti-aggro. I feel like there's better options out there. Like, maybe even aggro Druid is a really good anti-aggro deck. As funny as that sounds.
It's also a deck that can get banned.
Right, yeah, you can draw bans as well. So I think, I don't know, looking really shaky for RDU's lineup with that one exploitable weakness, and Snowkiss really took advantage of it. Here we see on the screen Group A. Now we see Group B. Snowkiss advances over RDU. She's going to be playing in the winner's match. So she will verse the winner between Nyria and Fu Oliver, which will be the next match we have coming up for you guys.
Just to tell you how it works, this is a GSL group. So players have to win 2 matches or lose 2 matches.
Right.
When you lose 2 matches, you're out. When you win 2 matches, you're going out to the day 3.
You win. Yeah, you don't get out both ways because that would suck. Then no one would win. So yeah. No, to win you can't lose 2 or win 2. You got to go 1-1.
That would be a very odd
Yeah.
tournament.
So yeah, you just have to win twice and you're through. Lose twice and you're out.
All right. Anyway, that was a pretty long match, so now we're going to go to a short break and prepare for the next match for you guys. So don't go anywhere. This is StarLadder I-League Season 3.